This is exactly how they found him out. Separated Phaser and King. Even with the dashes, Phaser goes down. Just this quick one pump because of fighting in the zone. And then they drop on the King, and the numbers is just too much. Even though he gets a down and a good shot on the dash, they're all three there. Just kind of closing out. And that's the thing about Dash, Bryce, and Skittles. You know, we said it yourself. They went from contesting Muzz, actually fighting it, to going on the outskirts, going for different loot. That's adaptability in its finest and right before our very eyes.
What's going on here? Forced to stay in the zone because you have... How many teams above you? Is it just a single trio, it looks like? Others in the vicinity. This is going to turn from bad to worse here shortly. The zone's going to start doing a lot of damage. And there it is. The fight kind of breaks off. So, I mean, the clock is ticking here.
Probably not liking where they were in terms of Storm Surge. Trying to force the fight while they can. Immediately it turns off and they say, hey, maybe this is something we can handle later. And not as risky of a situation. You said it yourself, a huge lack of heals overall. It just means that they're on the clock when it comes to a fight like that. And if you don't win it, it's just one less game you're going to have to play. And it's only the 5th game of the day. You're going to have one left over. This is where, no matter what has happened in your tournament so far, game number 5 is where you got to start to build that confidence.
Good zone awareness there, though, to find a rotate. That's going to give them no resistance. Little update now with Muzz, Sphinx, and Shadow, though. Front side of the other zone here, and they're going to go and walk their way through into some new positioning. I like this. I mean, they have the room to kind of work with here.
They're lurking around right now, not giving up any audio, visual. Recoup or Curly, they probably know they were there at one point in time, but don't know anymore. And they do have that yoink shotgun underneath. They can pull players towards them to try to get the full box. Rise, G-Money, and Beef keeping their hot streak of back-to-back outpost contested drops. They win those, and they're stretching it far into these end games. It's only top 20 for now, but you can see over 1,000 damage above the threshold, full loadouts, even exotics, heals on top of that, and different dash price for mobility. So they're set up and ready to go, no matter what this game throws at them.
A lot of players coming out of the canyon, crossing deep inside the storm there. That's a surprise. Uber threats, though, operating as a duo right now. So Lost, teammate in the sauce there, but Noxy lands right in front of the box here. Threats and Booga have to give this one up. 228 points as well. And how consistent they've been so far. This is by far and away their worst game. And then the zone pulls so far away now. You're going to have players like Vera and Noxy who likely need damage, looking to kind of press the issue here. Booga, though, cleans up Vera. Singular tag. Storm Surge does the rest. Who's left? Noxy. He knows he's got this advantage here. They don't even seem like they want to wait him out. They want to go and push this fight, get it wrapped up quickly. They got to go, though.
Yeah, especially since they are a duo on this rotation. They don't have that third player to alleviate any of the pressure on the way over. So they have one of the max pulls on top of that. Timing is of the essence, but Noxy is there by himself. And they're going to continuously kind of look back on their way through this rotation to try to cash him and track him. Maybe try to get the elimination later as Veer does go down. Noxy was able to misform, and that's how he was able to escape. But not everyone has that luxury.
Little update with Bolton. Rapid. No Kanata here as well. Okay, so a couple top teams fractured. Down and out. Key players here so far. Acorns trio seems to be pretty healthy. Position right across from Bolton Rapid here. But if there's a duo that can do it, this is definitely one of them who've played so well so far. This game, they were positioned 3rd coming into things. Look at Threats and Booga. Just waiting it out, and they were like, hey, you know what? We want that Elam. We need those builds. Thank you, nom nom. Noxy gets deleted.
Had a feeling that was going to happen. 920. And is that them? No, that's a full trio. I was about to say, that team that's just on the south side of the map, if anybody is a duo and missing anybody, and the zone pulls towards the north, there is a lone reboot van down there on the south that could come in handy depending how risk reward, you're willing to go ahead and take it. As Muzz gets it down on H-Cube in the distance. Clicks Yamzo Higgs sees a lot of action going down, and they wanted to take part in that one, but that's cold. That's Ritual Peterbot, the ones they're focusing on over in that side of the zone. Even with a med miss smoke going down, it's causing at least a little bit of distractions.
Yeah, I think if anything, it's causing a target. They're like, wait a second, is that team weak? No, they're not. However, does end up attracting a couple shots right there. Old Ritual Peterbot survived the storm. 5 elims right now. Front side of this next rotate here. An extra misform there to work with, so they'll be just fine. Here's a replay of how it all went down. You find HQ's team trying to play the med miss here on the front side of zone, waiting for things to rotate through, but they leave them no time.
And H-Cube wasn't even their original down. That's just awareness over 9,000 because it was Muzz that actually gets the elimination credit for that one, but they just get all the spoils of that battle, all the loot and more. As Poyo Ager's Acorn back in the game after, the games 3 and 4, one of them being contested, one of them being lurked and snuck up on. Not necessarily the moments they thought they were going to have, but in here, this is where you have to start to pick up the pace, make up for that lost time, because they had almost a 60-point lead after the games.
This is what's really interesting. You start leaving Acorn's team to their own vices, and they make it to another endgame. One of the most consistent. G-Money, Rise, and Aviv also finding their consistency as well. They have such a good footing on the lobby right now. They're right in between Clix's trio, right in between Peterbot's team as well. Here comes the rotates. They go dashing out across, but Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual are just adding up more and more to the tally here. 6 elims now as we're approaching the end game. This is going to give them a little bit more material to work with here.
And the thing is when they're in this type of flow state, Monster, you're not going to beat them by matching them placement for placement. We've already seen that through last major. You're going to have to get eliminations to close that gap, because that's exactly what they're doing to kind of extend their lead game after game, even the ones that they don't necessarily win. It's their consistency to pick up those eliminations that matter. As Mason, Golden, and Chimp up above, they're going to be on the high ground for now. You see them extending over, spending as lot of materials here in the 9th zone to try to keep it intact.
Here comes rotate, nice little misform around the outside, trying to catch up with Rapid. Just gotta let them in. There it is. They got themselves a nice layer to go ahead and work with here. Meanwhile, look at Rise, G-Money, and Aviv. Just in full control right now. Clix's team is on their layer. Another team, Ritual's trio, on the opposite side there too. Things are starting to heat up here. Ager's caught on the backside of the rotate, so that's one down.
Something you don't necessarily see every day is them kind of getting separated and kind of jumped on in those tight situations. It's Cold, Peterbot, Ritual, they cut off the path that it did look like they were looking for. The zone continues to open up. They may not be on the high ground, but they're just controlling the tempo down below, claiming all that space, 2-3 boxes wide, and they're staying hip to hip just in case anybody breaks into this box. They can all pounce and attack together, with the sprays coming in from all directions, front of the zone, behind them as well. Shadow forcing Peterbot to just disengage away from Ritual and play as individuals.
Gotta keep turning up here though, even though they're hurt. They're inside the top 10 now, and this is where we start to see Peterbot do Peterbot things. Keys his way into the box. Already clearing out the low ground layer. Cole starting to reset, but has to turn. Finds a little tag there. Peterbot follows up to clean things up. Ritual, though, carrying his own as well as things are heating up here on the low ground. Meanwhile, both playing the backside of zone. I see Acorn and Boyo still alive. Clixianzo Higgs might be the only healthy, strong trio in the low here.
And they got a couple of extra heals in their back pocket, but no, Higgs goes down. You see him immediately dropping over that loot, giving the upgrade on over to Clix. He's getting forced further and further back. Clix trying to peek a shot, doesn't want to give it up for free, doesn't have a lot of materials here. 3 builds left, but he's able to get the knock onto G-Money, but his luck comes to an end. He gets taken down. That was another big elimination in a tight moment, but he is also left by himself. Peterbot, with 5 eliminations as a solo, has to continue to go big.
He takes down Aim Red, takes down Clix, and he's still going. Meanwhile, Muzz, 5 elims right now, playing as a solo right now. This is the best Fortnite we've seen from him in any major in quite some time. And then he follows up onto Rise and just deletes him before he can even react. And just like that, he'll finish inside the top 8. Peterbot still at it though. You cannot count him out, and he is maintaining the lead here on his own, literally putting the team back on his back, as is Yamzo. In 5th place now though, Jacob, he is still working his way through, and he's not out yet.
Yeah, there's 7 missing players away from teams. Angel's able to get the elimination onto Poyo. Acorn goes down as well, so they outplace him yet another game, even though there's not too many placement points, being the difference maker here. But Peterbot popping his minis. He knows he has the misform. The Chug Jug in the back pocket as well. Final 3, 2 of them running around as solos. Peterbot goes down. Yamzo, the last solo left alive, challenges the 3v1, but it's a challenge he will not win. That's Golden. That's Chip. That's Mason out of nowhere to win the game.
They finally found their opportunity, and they seized a win and take the day. Game number 5. Well played for Chimp's trio. We almost had them out of the race for a moment there, but they said, give us a second. Let us cook. Well played for them, but the amount of solos there too, though, in that end game, Jacob, was really keeping things interesting. I mean, you had Yamzo, you had Peterbot, you had Acorn, all lurking on the low ground. What a game.
It definitely was, and with all that kind of chaos you're talking about going down, they just immediately take the high ground and don't really get contested any step of the way through this end game, taking down solos, letting them do the work, and eventually Yamzo did go for the challenge, but it's just too little, too late. A big game from them, from 18th place, flying up the leaderboard. Where do they land? Don't worry, Zeke will tell us.
I can't spoil it that quick. All right, Jacob. We gotta take a look at the standings after the break. Then we'll take a look. Hold on. My gosh, though, the trio. This felt like the game like 2 ago, right, where we had the trio on height. They laid out the triple tarps, right, and then the zone just kept pulling back over their builds. At that point, right, it's just on this trio. Hey, we just gotta just be calm, cool, and collected. Zoe's down there solo. Peterbot's down there to solo. They'll clean up the lobby for us. We just got to be there at the end. And that's all they did, right? They really just played this out very textbook. And with these other like incredibly immovable forces just cleaning up the low ground for you, it's like, oh yeah, you guys got it. Keep on fighting down there. It's all good.
Mason, Golden, and Chimp already proved themselves in Group 2 when they grabbed the 3rd victory royale, and there were some big names there that they were able to beat out. So to see them be able to continue that momentum into the grand finals, that's what I love to see. 11 eliminations is definitely going to have them sitting pretty in our leaderboard.
Yeah, obviously we're kind of seeing a pattern up on the higher ground for most of the games today, right? The team that's up on the higher ground, nobody's really looking up right there. And honestly, that was just a matter of fact of the lobby as it currently stood, right? We were going through some of those end zones and it was like, wow, everybody seems like they're a solo or a duo. Nobody really had the firepower behind them to contest. And like Zeke said, there was just so much mats up there, right? It was like the triple layer of cone, so hard to do anything about it in the first place, but just well played from Golden, Chimp, and Mason.
That's right, man. I'll go ahead and spoil it. They're 9th place, but what does the rest of the standings look like? Let's find out after this short break. Ooh, welcome back to the FNCS. Anyway, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the FNCS. One game left to go. Get it together, Zeke. Last game, Golden, Chimp, Mason got themselves a victory royale. Now, I went ahead and spoiled it. They're in 9th place, right? Jumping from 18th, as Jacob called out, going into that game, all the way up to 9th place. Well executed from the trio, but the job's not done, right? We have one more game to go. We've got another 6 tomorrow, but let's take a look at these standings. Guys, the top 3 did not move. I am very concerned right now, especially when we go into that game and Peterbot decides, oh, what's that? Oh, Zeke, oh, I'm a solo. No, what am I gonna do? Oh, I guess I'll just turn it on, go ahead and get 3rd place with 11 eliminations. Okay, Peterbot, okay.
He can't keep getting away with this.
He can't.
Pulled Ritual and Peterbot time and time and time again. When we think, oh, this is it, this is the tournament for them to lose, they just start climbing up the leaderboard, and with even out a victory royale, which we know that they are well within their capability of claiming one, but they would rather just decimate the low ground, getting all these eliminations, and we know how Elam heavy they are. But for these solo clutches to come out, for them to also get these placement points to survive to the very end, Vivid, it's looking a little rough for the rest of the lobby.
Yeah, I mean, as we saw on the leaderboard right there, they have the most eliminations throughout, right, with 44. Although, surprisingly enough, Muzz's trio close behind with 40. But yeah, right now, it just seems like this trio is just all gas and no breaks. It's like we tune in with them. They've got enough mass to go ahead and build like a little tarp, stay safe a little bit. But nah, they just keep making the edits on the trios. And I mean, we've seen it happen time and time again throughout, right? They just instantly can lose a member or two. And, you know, when that happens, it just seems like it doesn't matter. Whoever's left alive on the trio, you know, we've seen Ritual clutch up, we've seen Cold clutch up, and now we just saw Peterbot clutch up as solos. They just refuse to go down without like breaking into that top 5 right now. It's working out very, very well, but that's why we kind of see 0 wins right now. Is because, yeah, they are all gas and no breaks. They're finding the eliminations, but inevitably they're going to have somebody go down. So yeah, they're not getting the wins, but they are finding so many eliminations, and it's working out top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, I feel like in those situations, like with the trio, it's, I don't know, and you guys are gonna make fun of me for this, but it's like, I feel like they go down to a solo and that person's like, oh no, I'm a solo. And you get like the Grinch where he gets like the smile and the little hair like uncurls. Then they just pop off. I don't know what's going on. You know what, you're right. You don't need Victory Royale if you just walk with 10 plus eliminations per game. All right, crazy stuff.
Zeke,
Aviv,
to add on to that, I think that there is a lot of coordination, a lot of communication that goes on when you're a trio and you have to kind of stick together. So maybe being a solo, you're kind of allowed to unlock all of your chakra gates or whatever that Naruto thing is. You're able to be by yourself and play to the best of your ability. You don't have to worry about sticking with Ritual and Cold or whoever you are as a solo player. And so maybe it kind of unlocks this innate ability in Peterbot.
Okay, heard. I like that. I'm gonna continue to research that. Really quickly though, Aviv, G Money, Rise, 2nd place right now. That game, they got 7th place with 7 eliminations. And again, guys, we have to kind of talk about consistency, right? Because if we're trying to stay as high up this leaderboard as possible, because remember, there's still a bunch of trios in this that have already qualified. So we need to make sure we are staying basically within that, let's say top 5 at all times. This is a really good pace, right? But we cannot miss a beat. We cannot be eliminated off spawn. We can't make a mistake. And I'm just concerned, right? Like, because it feels like these guys are firing on all cylinders. But eventually something has to give, right?
I mean, for right now, they're in 2nd place, so I don't think anything's giving just yet. Aviv, G-Money, and Rise, individually, incredible players joining together, and I had like a little bit of a rough start for this season, but slowly, bit by bit, if you look at their placements throughout the tournaments, you know, getting 21st and 13th, and then in the play-ins, they got 6th place, and then they got a victory royale in their group stages. They have been locked in practice for the last few weeks, and it's really showing in their placements.
You know, obviously the leaderboard is seemingly right now pretty close together, right? Like everybody's really, really close. And I think the incredible thing is that like almost all of our teams are kind of they look like low ground teams right now, right? Every single time we tune in with them, they're kind of trying to control the front side of the moving zone. Some of them are trying to control like the back side of the moving zone. It's kind of crazy how this meta throughout some of these end games is kind of phasing out, where it seems like everybody's playing low.
Yeah, that was definitely not on my bingo card, right? With some of the trios in this lobby, I would have thought we're going to see a fight for height every single game. Not the case, but this is the last game on the day, okay? This is where we cement ourselves and we prepare for day number 2 with one last game. What are these trios looking to accomplish? How high will they climb these standings? Let's find out together. Casters, over to you.
There's only this last game for the day, Monster. Now, we're talking about a 58-point lead from Peterbot, but let's talk about the global championship spots as well. Aviv's team, Rapid's team, they're already the 2 teams that would be looking at it, but it's about 15 points down for Muzz, Shadow, and Sphinx that are still in that race as well.
Yeah, definitely. That is going to be what the real question is at the end for some of our teams here. Well, we get to do it one more time. Let's jump on for game number 6. The Major 3 Finals, Day 1, Game 6 is now here, and we are in quite a tournament run, almost a historical run. Some might say as far as how close the Day 1 competition can end up being, but for Ritual, Cold, and Peterbot, it seems like it has been business as usual for them. Jacob, we've seen Peterbot take almost the tournament into his own hands and manipulate the outcomes by targeting other teams that get close to him, but who will do it to them? Almost feels like the question, does anyone have the heart to go toe-to-toe with them and really try to take first place from them?
Yeah, that is a big question to ask, because, you know, in last major, it was Clixie, Amzo, and Higgs, but it was a different song, different dance. They were the top 2 teams with just small amount of points separating those 2. And for Aviv, G-Money, Rise, Rapid, Kanata, and Bolt, there's too much on the line. Even Muzz, Shadow, and Sphinx down below on that leaderboard in terms of global championship spots. So I think we're looking at one man. I think we're looking at one team. And they've been battling all season long. And I'm going to make it known, if anybody's going to stop them, I think it's going to be Agers, Acorn, and Poyo.
That would be kind of a plot twist, right? Where they're like, all right, you done did us dirty a couple times here. You set us up for failure. And all of a sudden they try to go ahead and counter them back. Well, be keeping tabs on it. Skittles, Bryce, and Dash kind of mixing up the strategy here. So it seems like they haven't been really happy with being pushed out of the drop so fast. The last game, that didn't work out at all. It seems like they probably are feeling like, hey, we have better chances just standing our ground here, taking the fight. Sphinx, Muzz, and Shadow on the other side have so much more to lose, though. They are very much in the conversation, in the running for a win here on the weekend. For that reason, they're not pushing too aggressively just yet.
Okay, it's almost like those mental games you're talking about. But I did see some action go on in the feed. Our last game winners, one of them does get taken down. That's Mason. Kind of gets back down to the lobby early. Is Tyler, Josh, and Kerr playing drop spot roulette. They find themselves over Outlaws Oasis contesting Oliver, Blake, and Diego. A surprise contest might have been what they needed. They win the off-spawn fight. And with only 20 points so far, most of those coming from this game, this might be what they need to start to build that confidence, to start to build that momentum. Because where you land here really says a lot about the type of day you're going to have tomorrow.
Super rough for Oliver, OG, Blake, and Diego. They have had overall one of the better days that they've ever had in the grand finals lobby start. Just approaching top 10 had they not dropped the ball in game 1, but with game 6 now not going in their favor, that's going to be a massive, massive upset. Boyo, Agers, and Acorn, likely the only team that could be the kryptonite to Ritual, Cold, and Peterbot's domination so far here. But that is still to be said.
Kind of seeing over here a different switch up. I said it already on the other side of the map, a new team contested Diego, Blake, and Oliver OG, which leaves only one thing, Monster, G-Money, and Rise, and Aviv to be uncontested once more at the Outpost Enclave. And honestly, what better situation could you have risked for if you were them? But it's almost looking at both sides of the coin, because now where's their surge going to come from off spawn? It almost forces them to change up their game plan for a third time today.
Yeah, I'm looking at their games, you know, 6, 8, 12, 7 elims. 3 of those coming from the drop is super important. I mean, That's 50% to a third of their average elims per game came from the drop spot. So that's honestly a big chunk of their points too. Could be the difference maker that sends a VFG money and Rise spiraling down. We will just have to see though. Sphinx Muzz and Shadow strategy doesn't change at all. They continue to just play aggressively towards Bryce Skittles and Dash, pushing them out of the drop.
That's how that fight started in the beginning. We tuned in when they were already essentially winning it, but it's just quick finds, get them separated. And they do it again with a whole nother trio that's trying to rotate through their new POI that they claimed for themselves for 4 or so eliminations right out of the gates. Depending on where the zone goes, this could be a game for Tyler's team because they also just took down Chimp.
I was just gonna say, wait a second, Tyler turning online right now. Chimp falling in the feed there too. Would not be surprised if they just key their way through what's left of that team. I mean, when you have nothing to lose, why not? Just have fun with it. Turn up and show out. Let's see it. Tyler, Curve, Josh laying right into the hands of Chimp. There it is. Caught him off guard. Caught him out of position.
That almost looked like Elim number 5 there for a moment. Bullets cannot rapid. They hear all of this noise going down on this side of the map, and normally we see them kind of base up over at Crime City, trying to go ahead and take advantage of these teams rotating in that direction. That might not necessarily be the case with the amount of eliminations so far, as Mason does get taken down by Rapid. Bolts is going to clean that one up. First elimination so far for them as they start to accumulate Surge in a different manner than they have every game so far.
I was gonna say, pay attention. These are teams that are finding consistency all throughout the day. And Kanata as well has had very, very unlucky day 1 grand final tournament performances. He's managed to constantly pull back right on day 2s and kind of come back into these top 10s. Look back at any of those years past events. But this time, man, he's off to a hot start. This is pretty exciting for him. As we're starting to see, I mean, would you say they've kind of solidified a seat on the battle bus at this point to the globals? I don't know. It just seems like they're very, very close.
Yeah, as much as I want to say yes, I also don't want to be the one everybody blames as cursing a team like that, especially during a hot streak that they're in. And another team right here, Clixiamzo and Higgs, changing up their game plan. They found some success in that last game. It was a little bit of a clutch, but they went ahead, instead of hunting teams down for Surge, we saw how risky that was in earlier games, to setting up back to normal. The Surge bases, shoot off at teams in the distance. And another thing is the zone is pulling towards the north, so teams will have to rotate into them, which makes this more and more of a reason why this is a good game plan.
Yeah, it seems pretty much like a no-brainer for them right now to just kind of stand their ground here with the zone on top of them. Reets super tagged up there, but Phaser here finding Tyler and his team on their warpath right now, and see Josh right there in the mix too. No King here. They have an Elim, so it seems like they must have wrapped up a fight against Josh's trio. Found a little trade, but you're going to be the first to disengage now.
Looks like they're going back on over to Lone Wolf to get the reboot. It's in zone. In my head, might be a little bit risky, but they might have also pushed some teams out. They know not too many players are currently there, especially since they're using those dash sprites to cover the distance as quickly as possible. Next island is going to be appearing, and that does look like it's going to go all the way over towards Pump Power, which is a Vert, Ishao, and Taki map that they can kind of take. They already have the medallion locked down, which is honestly a little surprising considering this is the one few islands we know Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual spawn nearby and could potentially be a threat to.
Like the setup here. Nothing really opening to them just yet though, even though they got this nice elevation.
See them looking by. Spire is going to spawn this time around, which makes a little bit more sense why they're not keying over towards that island. And Peterbot sets his eyes on the north side of the map, the Supernova Academy. You know as well as I do, everybody else at home knows Clixiamzo Higgs. They not only land over there, but sometimes they do tend to take that railing, which boosts you all the way from Supernova to Brutal Boxcars. and usually catches a team or two off guard, but that's been a strategy Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual known for a while know to watch out for.
Big fight going down right now for Pollo, Aegis, and Acorn, though. Kind of like the setup here. This is right south of the Demon's domain, so they've rotated down into Aimred's trio here. Trying to see if they can squeeze away some extra points. Seems like more than just a damage play. I think they're trying to close that gap to catch up to first and second. There's a lot going on here, too. Look at this. Two teams kind of lurking about.
Superman sprite is kind of scary to listen to because you know it's only a matter of time for the walls get taken down. Smiley and Iman up, they are right there. Smiley just went down to the zone. They had no extra heals to use to stay alive much longer. This Pollo, Aegis, Acorn, I'm not even sure if they know that team was there, just kind of floating around, but Pollo is going to spot out that knock. Extra loot for them, damage for Storm Surge, not necessarily what they were looking for, but they're inching closer and closer to Aimred, Angel, and Gary. This is what they were after, using that Superman sprite to just melt through the walls, take control of those pieces, make it easier for them to find some footing in this fight.
And I just love how you can see like the play styles at play. Acorn staying like 3 boxes back. Pollo's the one first to step up and look to take that wall. Just everyone playing their role almost perfectly, methodically here. Aegis on the side angle, just being that nuisance factor there, but here comes that extra pressure. I'm thinking they got to wrap this up quickly. There's another team coming from the north pretty quickly straight south now. They're messing around those areas. Gotta be careful here.
I like this. I like this from Aimred. Instead of just kind of like taking the beating that's getting thrown at him right now, it looks like he was going to go for it. Lurk. Maybe try to mount some offense, push him back, make him think twice about this scenario. But he didn't really see anybody to go after. They're all hunkered underneath their own builds, just putting a huge amount of pressure, getting them to burn through their materials. So even if they do find a way to disengage and stay alive, they're going to have to farm somewhere.
Spire rifle structure damage is just too good. The pressure lasts too long. Who's this? Looking at this team in the distance here. Oh no! Gary was one shot away from getting taken out, and Pollo whiffs the tag there, now forcing us into very dangerous territory. Sure, Aegis and Acorn might be able to clean this one up, but a new trio showing in and showing up pretty quickly here and now. They're going to be the first to be collapsed on because they're on the outside, so forced to go a little bit further inside. Meanwhile, Sleepsy takes the high ground here. This is bad now.
Yeah, even Angel's underneath trying to heal, but that's a huge signal that you're giving away in the audio visuals. But with everybody kind of stuck underneath in those builds, it kind of gives that team up above just no real sign of confidence. They're going to disengage on out. Does look like they're still looking for Angel that soloed the audio visuals, but this is how Pollo got caught off guard. Gary, literally all or nothing. Pollo, a rare miss is what costing him that fight against Gary.
Just shows you, you know, can't make a mistake. Doesn't matter who you're fighting. If you're in the grand finals, you're here for good reason. You are a threat even to the best.
I was just thinking, I saw him with 2 eliminations. I was like, what? Uncontested? Where'd the elims come from? They get Noxy down across the map, and G-Money was already there. He immediately pushes over and gets the elimination onto Ozone. Oh my, what a sneaky, sneaky fella G-Money is.
Just look at them go. How they clean things up here at the Kappa Kappa factory. They'll be able to get their pickups going, get them right back into the game. More points going their way now, just making up for the lack of contested early game. And that's how they find their damage. You know, we had some small concerns, some questions about what did they have in store, what game plan they had for making up some damage. They've managed to figure it out.
Braids visuals and Aminish are actually playing pretty good. Braids at the top of the damage leaderboard. Something that you've seen Peterbot at top of for 5 straight FNCS finals. No, I did not make a mistake. 5 straight is correct. Just shows the kind of prowess that he has. And now Braids is looking to threaten that one. Agers, Pollo, Acorn using every bit of resource on their way out. Knowing where these campfires are at are huge because you see Agers, no extra bit of
Wait
material.
a second.
Oh no!
Wait a second. Who just made a mistake? Who was that? Call him out now. Let us know. You cannot do that. That was crazy.
Oh, okay,
That was
double
bad.
res. The other one will go
That was
down.
bad.
Acorn should get one up. Oh man. Oh man, that's a situation I feel like I would never see a team that experienced in a long time, and they haven't really left away from Demon's Domain at all.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say about that. We all know it was a mistake. Those things happen. Sucks that it happens here and now when they're kind of in the race, you know, still in the race, but hopefully that doesn't offset their, you know, their mentality, right? Their focus. That could easily send you on tilt. They have a pretty tough day, you know? It's like trouble comes in threes. Maybe that's the third.
Such like exactly what you're saying. It's such a high and low, facing kind of both ends of the spectrum overall. Back-to-back wins to start it off. Back-to-back games not doing so good. You have a decent game 5, and then again, a speed bump in your journey all along. Bugha, Craze, and Threats. When we look at zones so far throughout this entire tournament, this one in the final game of the day should be the zone that suits a team like Bugha, Craze, and Threats so well. They land over towards Utopia. They kind of set up that triangle formation in terms of surge bases to kind of cap out on their overall surge. And as the zone shifted towards the north, they immediately rotated along with it. And I think this is what you got to do to kind of set yourself up right. And even Craze trying to go ahead and converge a lot of those heals back at their second surge tower.
Definitely the way to play it. From the academy down to the pump power, this is Clixiamzo and Higgs strategy. No strangers to rotating into this draw spot. We've seen them fight here before, but this time it's for material. They are definitely desperate to kind of secure some metal right now. There's a lot of teams here.
Yeah, it's not just metal either. You see kind of all of them lacking in break as well. Leon finds a sneaky opportunity to land some damage on Yamzo, but Clicks immediately jumps on over. He's able to slip his way on out, but they become a little bit of the focus of the lobby on the side of Pump Power. Clicks realizing they're trying to disengage, giving them the confidence to try to mow him down. He's able to get the first knock onto Liam. Higgs is breaking through the side wall. He's feeling more and more confident. That knock gave him a little bit of a green light, but I think Reet and Curly are there on the other side as well, so they have to be careful.
That was just such a high-level execution by Clicks right there. It may have looked like he was going to mindlessly key in, but you saw him just pause at the door, just watch and listen as the lobby joined in the fire, not putting himself into harm's way. And this is just, I feel like, again, the evolution, the growth of Clicks as a competitive player is very nicely done. And again, Liam, Zavi, and Neko have played very good early game fights. This is a team that does very well in fights, so you have to put a lot of respect on them.
And they've been pretty consistent getting up into this stage. Just honestly, when your day starts with a triple contested fight, it's not the most confidence building day that you can have, but you got to be able to close it out to make it so. As Aim Red runs into Acorn yet again. A fight earlier on from Demon's Domain, or at least the south portion. He gets his revenge. Gary falls as well, boxed up. Angel completes the full trio right.
Completely different team. Elims right there, very nice. Meanwhile, Minich, Visual, and Braids not slowing down the action here by any means. They already had a couple Elims here, but they're cleaning up house here after Fred's trio. Oh, look at that pressure coming in from the side. More teams now joining in the action. This is bad. They're almost calling the lobby to focus on them, but seems like things simmer down for a second. That's going to be their third Elim right now. Kalipper gets away. It's Bolts and Kanata who's watching this all play out below them. Short rotate as well for them, Jacob, here. So they can move anytime. Uh-oh. That reaction time. My gosh.
I would say they might be able to move anytime that they want. Doesn't mean it's going to be a safe one. Great damage by Acorn, Agers, and Pollo, seeing that one from a mile away and really executing on it. and not even getting greedy with the amount of damage there. Some teams might have pushed on over to try to clean it up, but they know more and more teams are going to have to rotate through this side of the zone, or they're going to have to run into them. Fredbot feels the pain. Pollo is going to get credit for that knock and eventual elimination. Caliper's trying to go up and over, and Minish as well, but they are the ones holding down this side of the zone overall.
There they go. Already at 6 elims now for Acorn, Agers, and Pollo. Short rotate here. As things go south, most teams have to move. They're going to be early, being quick to the draw here. Rise, G-Money, and Vito in the replay client. Look at that. Nice job onto VLEX. Cyclops comes in, but surprise, surprise, Aviv and G-Money are here to support them. They are playing excellent Fortnite right now. Game in and game out. Shadow Sphinx left as a duo. What happened to our boy Buzz?
Yeah, I saw the down in the feed. I thought maybe they can get the revive back on the Buzz, but nope, that is not going to be the case. And what a terrible time to lose your teammate as well. 19 teams still up. 2 more teams need to go down, though those placement points start to cascade in more and more with every team that does fall. As we're near the Brutal Boxcars Mountain, you're seeing the elevation that they've held throughout the start of the game until now. Kind of banking in the fact that it will pull in their direction. Teams will have to rotate, and then that's what they can use to get Surge. They're not 1,000 above like we've seen them in the 2 past games, but they're still 300, faring very, very well, especially compared to some of the other teams in this lobby.
Very interesting that they're also staying kind of like separate, still with these incredible structures kind of all around the area because they can. I almost feel like they want to solidify like a really strong lead, and they're not doing anything out of the ordinary here. Ooh. These pistols are definitely dangerous.
Oh, looking down below. He does land some damage onto Josh, but not the first or the last shot, so no shockwave effect coming into play. Taki Vert and E-Shell. Seeing a team roam around right below. That's Click, Siamzo, and Higgs, who are doing the same thing to the team below them, which is King, Phaser, Cold's team, along with Monty. Reed's even further down that side of the mountain, but Phaser and King, they're just getting forced outside of the zone, but you're seeing why Clicks and his team are getting so aggressive below the damage threshold. Tagged up yet again, dropping down the side of the mountain. Click stuck on the side of that as well. He's going to get rescued for a short moment. They barely find themselves 29 damage above the threshold, but that's going to give them a moment to breathe, reassess the situation before they inevitably have to get active again.
Wait for Yamza to just keep his cool there and not throw down a med miss, because I know I would have been like, whoa, instant. Put it down. That was a little intense right there, especially with the surge right on top of them, but here they go, 2 below again, so the pressure looming above them. Clixiamzo has to make a move here. This is not the place to pause down. Here comes the med miss here to kind of force them in, but the lobby sees this as a sign of weakness. Skittles turns over, finds the knock onto Clicks here. No traded damage. There it is. Finally, they find a little bit, but Bolts Kanata Rapid, they have their eyes on the prize here.
Storm Surge is active too. That was a good chunk of the damage that kind of brought Clicks down. Higgs and Yamzo to reposition and barely won. Whether you're inch or a mile below that damage threshold, it does not care. It's instantly going to activate. 115 above though. Pressure has been alleviated as they make their way towards the zone, but not fully. You see their resource count very, very low. Heals gone out the window, and once again, a singular damage below the threshold.
Acorn and Agers have the high ground right now as well. They're positioned well over the lobby here. Peterbach holding Ritual have opted to go into the ultimate low right now. Now up into another box here. They find a fresh trio, force that player out. He goes dashing across. This is still a rotate they have to make here, so they're not in the clear just yet. Only a single elim, a very slow and steady game right now for them. I'm looking at the bird's eye view. I see Kanata, Bolt, Rapid, Yamzo, Higgs still alive here, making the move as well. Kanata, Bolt, and Rapid running their way up the top as well. The more elims they get, the closer and closer they get to closing those gaps.
Unfortunately, you saw Reet get taken down. Shadow falls.
Wow.
Around 15th place for him, Muzz, and Sphinx. That's got to be a nightmare way to end the day. But luckily for them, 6 more games to pick up the pace tomorrow. Iggs still suffering for active surge, storm damage as well. Backside of the zone, it overtakes him. But PH Sin actually gets the elimination, but does not reap the reward. No siphon, he immediately goes down in seconds.
If only he wasn't a duo still. Iggs would still be in the game, but there you have it. Just shy of the top 15. We're just inside of it. Cold, Peterbot, Acorn taking their time now, even playing this med miss. And this is what I talked about. I can tell that they just want to ease their way into a nice, comfortable lead for tomorrow so they could just run away with this tournament. Likely to go for high ground now. We'll see. They want to play for this Victory Royale here. Boyo, Agers, Acorn give up the positioning here as they run out of material. They're forced to find a refresh here.
Yeah, and that's after already getting one. Agers took down Donnie on his 6th elimination. They have 9 total overall, which is crazy to think they're out of material. But Cold, Peterbot, and Ritual are the ones that are on the high ground. Poyo gets bounced up, trying to go for it. Ritual's shields go out the window, down to just a sliver of HP, looking for a way to survive. But it's Poyo that was the one that took him down, but it sacrificed everything. Him and his teammate will fall, leaving Acorn the last one alive. But Peterbot is in the same boat.
And Bolt's found Boyo there too, so this is all kinds of just exchanges happening right now. Messy, scrappy endgame here. Peterbot sees a little med miss, wants a piece of the action, goes to get some of that. Acorn finds someone, but the misform saves that player. His is now recharged and ready. He's chasing him down. It's Cooper. This is a healthy Cooper, though. He's got to be very, very careful. Oh, nice little find here. Go ahead and chill out, get some heals, but up top, the visual effect gives him away. And back he gets sent. Meanwhile, it's Booga, Craze, and Threats who are setting themselves up for the potential win.
Yeah, they're the only full trio left in this game. Reet is no longer in it, but Curly and Cooper were able to get the high ground in that moment. Kanata finally getting cleaned up. Another elimination for Craze. They need this game. We were talking about the bubble for global championship qualifiers. They're not even in the top 3 for those teams, but Craze finds and steals away that elimination from Peterbot, but he's ready to fight back. 1v3, those numbers, the math is math, and they're able to take it away, and now it's a 3v2. Cooper and Curly are ready for this fight.
This is a big fight for them right now. It's going to be hard to win with Cooper fully healthy here, but the material count. Curly just has a singular build. Cooper burns through what he had left, but the low ground team barely has any either, so Miss forms up, cancels it early. Booga takes the high ground, jumps down to support Threats. Threats falls here. Can the siphon come through? It's up to Booga and Craze, and of course, they do it in the end, and that will be their first Victory Royale.
Yeah, 8 eliminations. They're never out of the race, and they might have been looking a little bleak. Like I said, when it comes to the top 3 global championship spots, they weren't even one of those teams. They started this game in 7th place, 245 points, but with the amount of eliminations they got, Monster, with that Victory Royale, that was almost a 100+ point game.
That's exactly what they needed to put themselves closer and closer to that top 5, maybe even 3rd place seat. Remember, Muzz Shadow Sphinx fell early, so they did need a little bit of, you know, their momentum to kind of slow down, and they found it. But more importantly, they found so many elims in the end game there. Look at that. And then a full-on clash. Well played for Booga to just maintain kind of his strategy here, stay calm, and then take a Game 6 victory. It was just a matter of time for Booga, Threats, and Craze, though.
Yeah, especially since how consistent they have been playing up until this point. Every single game has been in the top 8, but that game number 5. And, well, they picked up the pace, they made up for lost time, and scored big to close out the day, Monster.
Yeah, for sure. Well, listen, that was a fun day 1 just to kick things off from myself and Jacob. We're out of here, so let's send it on Zeke to bring us home.
Thank you guys so much. As always, fantastic cast on the day. My gosh. Hey, Kelly, who won that?
What was it?
Booga! That's right! Let's go! Booga! 6th game victory. Thank you for joining on the joke with me, Kelly. I appreciate that. I cannot believe this from the trio in the last game of day number 1, right? We've kind of continued to see them like place within the top 10, right? They only had one game outside of the top 10. That was the top 15. And then every other game, it's like a 6th, an 8th, a 3rd, and now a Victory Royale. Now, obviously, I think if we're trying to be critical, I think the one thing I would say is like, hey, overall, I'm loving what the team is doing. I think they probably just need to try and find a few more eliminations. But at the end of the day, and you'll see on the standings in just a moment, these guys are in top 5 right now, okay? This is a really strong place to be going into day 2. But I think we still have work to do for day number 2, right, Kelly?
Yeah, just to, you want to be confident going into day number 2, and you want to be confident going for that global championship spot. And if you look, honestly, there's a lot of teams within contention, especially considering that we still have 6 more games to go. But Zeke, you started off by saying I couldn't believe to see, like, we got to see Bugha, Threats, and Craze do this in the final game. But honestly, I can believe it. Bugha, Threats, and Craze, or just Bugha and Threats as a duo, have consistently throughout the year performed pretty well and consistently placed themselves at the top of the leaderboard, just not within that spot of the global championships. And we can see Craze so many games. He is the one that has all the eliminations. He's the one that's making all the plays, and Bugha and Threats are just making sure that they set the stage for him.
I mean, we saw the exact same play earlier on throughout the day, right? Where Bugha and Craze were alive. They go ahead and use the Mist Worm at the very last moment. It didn't work out for the win there, but this time they had Threats by their side. It worked out there. They go ahead and pick up game number 6. But it's no surprise, Zeke. I mean, we saw the top of the leaderboard right there, right? Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual sitting pretty comfortably in the first place spot right there. But I don't know, Zeke, right? It was another one of those clutches. I mean, only 3 eliminations for the trio in the last game right there. Peterbot kind of had to dip out into the storm to make sure they clutched up the 3rd place spot. Of course, we know these guys. We know they can pull out the clutches, but I just want to see the win. I want to see the whole trio live. Both got 100, 100. All of them got 100, 100. You know, they're chilling. I want to see that win, but we just didn't see that from the trio today.
What we did see, though, that I really liked from Peterbot's trio, sorry, Zeke, to cut you off there, but there was a moment where they actually used the pistol to launch themselves for height, which is something that I don't personally, I don't know if anyone else has, but I haven't personally seen that as frequently, and they just did it so well. So even when Ritual, Cold, and Peterbot may not have the exact loadout that they want, they're still able to be very thrifty with their loadout.
Yeah, no, I love that too as well, Kelly. Thank you so much for pointing that out. I was gonna just say, like, I think that's a really good point, Vivid, because I think on paper, if you just came to me and said, like, hey, there's this trio and it doesn't matter kind of what situation we see them in, they're always left as like a solo in the end game, I would not assume, hey, this is a trio that's leading in first place, right? Yeah. And yet for some reason they still are putting up these insane numbers. I almost, like, I wish I could understand or like know what is causing them to be put into these solo clutch moments, because it's like, if we could just figure that out, if you could tell me there's an end game where Ritual, Cold, and Peterbot are all alive and are all kitted, they win that game every time, right? But for some reason it's like, oh, maybe a person dips out, or maybe a person takes a bad peek or something, they start to kind of crumble, and then it's always just one of them left alone. So I don't know, maybe something to show up for day number 2, Kelly. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe, right, they just keep doing what they're doing and they just end up winning it all anyway. I don't know.
I think that they're a very much high risk, high reward trio where they don't necessarily need to have the perfect loadout for heal offs at the end game. They go for refreshes instead. And obviously it's a big question mark. If you're even if you get the elimination, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get the loot that player drops. And so I think that when they go on these aggressives and they're kind of clearing out the low ground, it's so hard to actually focus on what's going on because you're moving around a lot. You're constantly rotating. So I think that's the case. I think when we've seen Peterbot dominate more strongly, like what we did from game 2, they do it from height and they kind of condition the rest of the lobby so that they just have it. No one looks for height and then they just control it from there, but they're sticking to the low ground now, Vivid. So I really think that it's these aggressive plays that we know for them to make, and it's just not panning out exactly.
Yeah, I mean, obviously playing well, right? First place leaderboard, hard to kind of critique anything that's kind of going on there, but we know Zeke, second place right behind them.
Yeah, man, Rapid Kanata Bolts. I mean, to see them win game number 3 today with the 11 eliminations, rather, such a high point of the competition. And then they just continue to be consistent, right? If we just look at just their placements, 8th, 3rd, 1st, 4th, 6th, 4th, these guys have only placed out of the top 5 twice today. Like, that is so crazy. And when you just kind of look at the spread of their eliminations as well, it's very clear why they're in second place. Now, obviously, they want to win, right? They want to come back for day number 2 and us to be able to say, hey, Peter, who, right? Kanata wants only eyes on their trio. So I'm excited to see kind of, obviously, fantastic first day, what adjustments we make coming into day number 2.
I think that the priorities for early and mid game are pretty like on point. I think going obviously for Spires if it's nearby, also these dead side rotations that I've seen them take a few times have definitely put themselves into a good position as to why we're seeing them at the end game time and time again. But honestly, when it comes down to it, is that it's really hard to just be able to be a strong tree on the low ground when there is a dozen people just fighting each other. It's so hard to keep track of it, but looking at this leaderboard, going from 1st to 10th place is a 228 point difference. It is going to be quite a climb for the rest of our players if they want to get into that 1st place spot.
I mean, yeah, also looking at the leaderboard right there, right? We saw Booga 30 points behind that global qualification spot in 3rd place right there. So that last game was huge, kind of leading into tomorrow, right? Kind of gives that trio hopes, you know, allows them to see, hey, listen, we are very, very close to qualifying for globals, only 30 points behind. And we know just one game can change so much. So game number 6 right there on day number 1, huge for not only Booga's trio, but also everybody else and kind of like that top 7.
Yeah, man. And I mean, obviously, we saw him in 3rd place, Aviv, G Money, and Rise. I mean, a performance, guys. You're ending day 1 in 3rd place with 372 points. That is next level.
Right.
That is insane, right? This is such a strong start going into day 2. And I guess for you guys at home, maybe you've never watched or whatever. We're a 2-day format, so we'll have tonight to kind of go back, VOD review, talk to our coaches, talk to our team. Look at the games, look at what happened, and then come back tomorrow with a new adapted strategy. So I'm so excited to see what this top 5 brings to tomorrow, because remember, we're playing for global championship spots, we're playing for prize money, we're playing for the Blade of Champions, so much to play for in day number 2. Now, of course, that wraps up day number 1, which is a bummer, but it's fine. We'll be back tomorrow, 6 games tomorrow, spots, global championships, prize money, Blade of Champions, all of it tomorrow. Before we say goodbye, I wanted to let you guys have the floor. What are you hoping to see coming out of tomorrow?
You know, it's funny, we did rehearsal today, and when you asked me this question for day number 1, I made a joke, be like, oh, can we not get too many heal-offs? And we haven't gotten a single heal-off game today, so I would love for that to keep happening for day 2.
Yeah, I mean, everything was great. Hopefully day number 2, right? All 6 games can kind of be uncontested amongst all of our big trios, right? Those surprise cons kind of happen, or maybe next time they're going to be ready for it. And yeah, I mean, great stuff. Obviously, day number 1 was awesome. Day number 2, hopefully, is going to be just as awesome. And as a quick reminder for everybody home as well, I see this question asked so much in the community. Tomorrow is not a multiplier day, right? So the points will be exactly the same as they were today. So no catch-up mechanic, which is why day number 1 matters so much. And that's why we talked about the leaderboard so hard.
That's right. Now, obviously, for us, we're going to go back. We're going to start looking at all these games. Come back tomorrow to prepare ourselves for day number 2, break down some of the things we saw, and of course, highlight more trios tomorrow. Now, if you like this, don't forget EU is before us. They have their own set of 6 games. They have champions over there. They have global championship qualifying spots there as well. So much Fortnite tomorrow. It is a massive day. And again, it will give us the complete picture of who will be going to the global championships, not just for us, but for EU and every other region as well. Oh, it's exciting. We'll just, let's start day 2. Go ahead, start up production, start the games. Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow. Until then, as always, we love you. Keep yourself safe, and we'll see you on that battle bus.
Beep, beep.